And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're limes.
Yeah?
No, we're live.
Yeah?
We're live.
What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
We are back.
And we're whispering.
A little bit. That's what you did to me last time. You threw me off.
ASMR. Whisper, whisper, whisper. Whisper, whisper, whisper.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wait, yes. No, I'm not going to finish this thing.
Binaural audio.
Yeah.
We have a... buffering. We have an exciting show.
We do.
We are celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop. We've been leading up into this for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and now we're finally here, and we appreciate you being here with us to enjoy this episode. We got a lot of hip hop topics, so we're going to talk about the future of hip hop, the past of hip hop, our present, and we're going to get into a tier list where we rank Billboard's top 25 rappers of all time. We didn't do the 50 because that would have been like a crazy amount of work, but like,
yeah, we give you half of it.
That would have taken an hour to do. So we're going to do the top 25, which is way more controversial than the top 50.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this. Our first thing is Lupe Fiasco has done a song called Glass of Water, and he's did it with Google AI. It's called TextFX.
Yeah.
And so it's a partnership with Google where he's able to like write his own lyrics, but then partner, kind of use the AI as a tool to set the stage, get ideas for rhyming words, and also just use the tool to like get his thoughts out in an organized fashion. So I thought it was interesting. It's a different way to use AI. And so maybe we can listen to a little bit of it and then discuss.
Indeed.
I'm going to write a full song with a kind of predetermined narrative and kind of goal using TextFX as the driver. So it's almost like we're going to be in dialogue. All right, so got the beat, got my little analog writing pad, I got TextFX, and I think that we're ready to go. So I think I have the first line. I'm gonna just start it with what the concept is. So I'm gonna start with, a glass of water. Right now, I'm not gonna use TextFX or anything. I'm gonna just start with like kind of the beat first and this kind of open seed line. Say, a glass of water held up to the lips of a marauder, living like a order, a sorta. A glass of water held up to the lips of a marauder. I'm gonna do that. So I know I'm gonna do it like that. So a glass of water held up to the lips of a marauder. So I'm gonna dig into TextFX, and I'm gonna use that lips of a marauder as the scene, as the input. So we got scene going, dry and flaking. They look like they haven't had water in days.
Real quick. I find this very interesting after listening to, oh my God, I can't think of the name of the song, but we just did a video on it. With the hand signs.
Yeah, it starts with a P.
Anyway, I should know the song as a fan, but the point more so being
you are the worst Lupe fan in the world now.
I am tripping. It's so crazy. But what I'm One to point out is that
this is not the Lupe podcast anymore.
Precious Things. And so
we've been demoted. We can't talk about Lupe ever again.
In Precious Things, it's funny because at the end he's like, because you don't use me to write the raps no more.
Yeah.
And then to watch him writing the raps.
With AI. Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's the one. Glass of water held up to the lips of a marauder, looking like they haven't had a drink in days. All right, cool. So I'm going to do that. I want to pin this just so I know where I came from. I want to do a few things with Marauder. Running Marauder to explode. There we go. My rider, Mary Water, yep. My raider, Mayor Rude, Marador, yep. That's exactly what I was looking for. To decorate a door with seashells. Wow. Wow. That's really good. And it's cool because I don't have to think about this other stuff because the work's already done. So it's just kind of like just sitting over here. So I'm going to try more rudder. Feeling more rudderless than a ship without a captain. Adrift, the ocean of life with no destination in sight. That's the one.
Yeah. So what do you think about this? Like, how interesting?
You know what's funny about this is it reminds me of Rhyme Zone. Just
what the heck is Rhyme Zone?
So Rhyme Zone used to be is like the thesaurus, where you would just go on and put in a rhyme word and you would get all the words that rhyme with it.
Oh, okay.
You can get syllables and things of that nature.
Would you get phrases too?
Not some, but very small phrases. Like it would just be like the syllables sound the same, kind of.
I think the phrases are more impressive for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you're rhyming a word and then you rhyme a phrase with the word as the end of the couplet, that tends to be a little bit more impressive. But I digress. Rhyme Zone.
So Rhyme Zone, like I said, it's just really just a thesaurus rhymer or finding rhyme words that I know rappers used to use. I used it a lot in like probably 2010 to about 2012.
So you've been a cheater before Zelda.
This guy. I knew you were gonna take a shot. I knew it was coming.
Pow.
But it's similar to what Lupe is doing here. Like you already know where you want to go. You just need to know, like, okay, is this gonna actually line up, or am I gonna do the Eminem thing, which is so central to him, which is take a word and like manipulate the syllables to match how I need them to.
Yeah, so he's gonna juice a rhyme scheme.
Yeah.
Until it's exhausted, and he might stick with the same rhyme scheme the entire 16 bars.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so that's what this reminds me of. I also think that it requires your mental to be way more advanced.
Yeah, so I think where this can go wrong is if somebody lets AI write the entire song. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's not going to be great. So like in my experiment with AI, which you can watch on my YouTube channel, wordplay, youtube.com/wordplay TJ, I did an experiment where AI was like doing every part of the song, the beat, the lyrics, and mixing, mastering, that type of thing. And it ended up being kind of meh in the grand scheme of things. But when it came to the lyrics, I had to get involved with the lyrics because the cadences weren't right. I had to fudge some of the cadences within my performance. So yeah, I had to make it more human and more palatable in that case.
And I find this more because see, even when you were talking about the cheating aspect, pow pow, shout to the heart.
You mean the many hearts that you collected because
no, all my hearts were like very like already done before I did it. But the point about this that like requires your skill is the structure. You like your mental structure, like you're saying, because you can't go into this like anybody can can't pick this up and all of a sudden become the best lyricist in the world.
How do you think this is going to be impactful for like future rappers?
I think it can be a great tool, but it just depends on how they use it. Because like you said, you can come on here and like it goes through. Like you can find similes and metaphors and things that like connect, and it'll, you know, pick each part and show you all the different things that you can kind of do. But if you don't have a cadence, if you don't know like the purpose of similes, metaphors, conjunction words, transitions, or how to like use syllables to like change your rhyme schemes, then it doesn't help you at all.
Yeah. So my thought is that like hip hop in the future is technology and has always been technology, right? DJs scratching, like plugging into the street lamps, all of that other stuff. Like a lot of people that mix and engineer hip hop and produce hip hop are like really tech nerds to a degree. And then Lupe's partnership with MIT is very valuable in the progression of hip hop. Where I get concerned is that where people think that all of this is going to supplant humans. And the reality is that AI is here to help humans be more efficient so we can focus on the higher level thinking skills.
I do think, and we just did a review of Travis Scott's Utopia.
Straight up!
But the next person that is in that mold that can use this is going to be unstoppable. It's unstoppable. Because not only do you already kind of have your producing and your cadence down if you're in this mold, you now don't have to like lean on like Kanye with a Consequence or a Sci-Hi. You can create.
Oh, so you got your ghostwriters.
You got your ghostwriters, and you can be, you know, a little bit more crafty with it if you have that mindset. So I think the next person is going to be able to use this basically like Neo in the Matrix. Like I can be over here producing and then I can write the raps together with this program to say something that is lyrically on top. So that way I'm able to give the best of both worlds with my production.
Yeah.
So
word. Well, speaking of kind of technology, the history of hip hop, we're going to go back and look at hip hop's like past and listen at an interview where they interview Coke La Rock, who was hand in hand on the side of DJ Kool Herc when they did the party that basically ushered in hip hop. It was a back to school party, which you never think about that when coming to it. I did a presentation once on like the history of hip hop. I think it was to my students and to some other faculty, and it's important that like to know that it was tied to like education and tied to school and tied to technology. Many people don't think about that evolution and that existence. And so I think that's really vital. Can you check the framing though?
Okay.
And so if you're good, we're good. So I just think all these pioneers, all these folks that were influential are being forgotten about. Yeah. And we'll see that when we get to our tier list later on. Like, it's important. So let's go ahead and watch a little bit. We're going to maybe check out about 2 or 3 minutes and then discuss.
One night I'm at this party and everybody was doing this as I'm talking, like you said, a rhythm. So I was like, wow, they moving side to side. So I start saying, you rock and you don't stop. You rock and you don't stop. Because you're now listening to the sounds of Coke La Rock.
It's a lyric often associated with Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force's 1982 hit, Planet Rock.
I can say it now. We was at the motel on the turnpike, right? Now, I had a wife, everything. So we at the motel, me and somebody, we came out. and somebody else came out the other door with somebody they wasn't supposed to be with. We looked at each other.
Man said I had a wife.
And I put it to words. Hotel, motel, you don't tell, I don't tell.
Another familiar line, heard in what's often called the first mainstream hip-hop track, Rapper's Delight.
Do you feel like hip-hop owes you anything?
If Herc is the father of hip-hop, and that's, everybody know that. If Herc came out of there, and I picked the mic up, and I came out of there, why am I not known for that? Where's the royalty money of this?
Attorney Lita Rosario Richardson's expertise sits at the intersection of entertainment and intellectual property. Lita works to rectify the drawbacks in the music industry that left many legacy artists without ownership of their work.
Is Coke LaRock entitled to anything?
So, my first question for Coke LaRock, did he ever record any of his rhymes? And I heard him say that he used to make mixtapes on 8 tracks. So if he recorded some of those rhymes on those 8 tracks, he has some evidence of when they were created. But even if he didn't, he can actually record those rhymes now and file them at the Copyright Office, because copyright subsists from the date of creation, not from the date that you file your copyright registration.
Why is that important for his grandkids?
Man, that's deep.
Yeah, that's deep. Like, that felt a little, I mean, I think it was lawyer talk, so it was a little slimy in a certain
What do you
way.
mean?
The copyright creation just...
She's protecting him.
No, facts. It's facts. I don't know. It just feels a little lawyer slimy. Not in a bad way, but in that...
Explain what lawyer slimy means in this context.
So in this context, like, it's not when you did it, is when you create the copyright.
No, it's when you did it. That's what she said.
Oh.
She said it's when you created it.
So that shows me slow.
No, the moment you create something and you record it, it's yours forever. You do not have to file a copyright.
Okay.
Filing a copyright just makes it easier in the court of law when somebody says you don't own this.
Okay. So yeah, I just misinterpreted what she was saying, which happens a lot on this show.
Well, I think that's the disconnect between how artists are not recognized in the way that they feel like they should be. There's a lack of understanding of like ownership.
Yeah.
And knowing that he did all these things and he produced these records, like all they need is like a recording from that night.
Yeah.
And or witness testimony, or like, you know what I mean? Just like other people that were there and present that said, no, Coke LaRock did that. And we know Coke LaRock's name as hip hop artists and those that have been in the game for a while. But I don't think the mainstream knows his name the way they know Kool Herc.
No, or even that song in that way. It's very pivotal when we talk about royalties and just the creation of hip hop. For us to reach back, we did that whole video on academics talking crap about the older rappers.
Right.
And the reason we were so furious about it is because I don't get here without that person. If it's not created, if it's not done in that way, I don't get here. And it was a brand new business / industry that I can't expect some kid or some young person, which they were at the time, to understand all of the intricacies of what the future was going to be for this.
Yeah, and they're coming out of the 60s and they're entering into to the 70s and the early 80s, where black folks in music were taken advantage of in that era, prior to and even beyond. And so when it comes to like their fight for recognition and royalties, they don't have the knowledge.
No.
Today is different though.
Yeah.
the knowledge exists. It is just as when you say lawyer slimy, what I hear is like it's complicated.
Yes.
It's too complicated. It's too much jargon for it to be explained to me in the right way.
Yes. So that's more so what I mean is it sounds like, but it also sounds not coincidental, but just very like open in that lawyer way of like, well, that don't seem very, it's not very concrete, like you said.
Right.
So like when you hear that, that's where it can sound slimy because it sounds like you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing because it's not a one-to-one in terms of the explanation.
Yeah, but in any rapper's case, Pioneer, regardless, like if you ever recorded any of your stuff, make sure you keep it. Make sure you file that copyright, and make sure you go get protected. Go get those royalties. And there's new laws that have been passed for publishing and laws that are continuing to be lobbied by folks like ASCAP, BMI, the writers, the publishers union, and or the publishers kind of academy. It's a publishers group that advocates for things where like terrestrial radio wasn't paying for anything prior to 1950 and those types of things. So like those things are being lobbied for and are super important when it comes to hip hop artists and being recognized. So even though hip hop is beyond like in the future compared to 1950, it's really important for us to go get what we deserve.
Yeah, because there's a lot of money out here in regards to the industry that's just somebody else's that is really yours or as an artist, and just protecting your art in general, because while you might think your song that you put up on SoundCloud or wherever is insignificant, there's a lot more power and somebody sees it. Like somebody saw whatever it was.
If it exists, it matters.
Exactly.
Right. And you can't ever take your creativity for granted. Your creativity is always an asset in my book. So that's where I am with that. And you know, that's how I feel. I hope that Coke La Rock gets his just due and everything that he deserves. And we're able to just kind of recognize our legacy artists and our legends in the way that we're supposed to. Speaking of legacy, legend, and just kind of thoughts and memories, what are some memories and thoughts that you have for your like existence with hip hop? Like, what makes hip hop memorable for you?
Well, I think the biggest hip hop memory for me is a Lupe one, and it's seeing Lupe at Ripperfest with rest in peace to my guy Avery.
When did that happen?
It was 20. Good God. 2016 maybe.
Okay.
I think.
I remember that. Like I was in Arkansas. I think I was in Arkansas at the time.
But that was that shining moment of being able to see an artist that has like shaped my lyrical ability, my representation in terms of like the first time I saw what I consider to be a nerdy rapper, even though Lupe is more akin to like how we actually are than what I thought him to be. But
what does that mean to the audience? Because they don't know.
So in terms of us, we grew up in the hood, but we're nerds. And it doesn't mean that we don't know hood politics or hood language, all this other stuff. It don't mean we don't run with the thugs, so on and so forth. I just thought he was a nerd because that's how they showed him. Mm-hmm. And so the more that I got to kind of know about him, especially in 2007 when The Cool dropped, it just began to excite me about hip hop and breaking down lyrics. His was the first lyrics that I started to be like, oh, I get the metaphor and the simile here. Mm-hmm. Whereas I didn't think that a lot of rappers were that deep prior to, or I wasn't really diving into the lyrics. So being at this concert was like this culmination of like, man, I really feel the energy. And he even did my favorite song of all time, which is The Cool. And so I'm just like rapping this alongside him. Well, I'm in the crowd, but with him, and just feeling the energy. And it was like the most palpable hip hop thing that I can like think of in my mind.
Yeah. Why you didn't rush the stage? Why you didn't throw your bra, your 36G out?
I was just gonna see, so I can get a Playboy deal.
You should have thrown your 36G out there, man.
Dog.
You probably would have got a lot of recognition there.
Probably, yeah. I would have been able to throw that up there, But they was like an 8 cup then, man. They were 36G.
Yeah, that was before people like that. Now we're in an age where people are throwing shit at artists, and that was way before that.
Yeah, and this was in his dread, his locks phase, and that was an incredible show, and it's like something that I will forever remember as like a super pivotal. Simba, remember who you are. But yeah, that's my moment. What is yours, or what is your like that thought that comes to your mind?
So I have quite a few memories, and I use these memories as flexes on this podcast sometimes.
Oh, all the time.
But the one
just the 30th flex.
The one that's most important to me is meeting Russell Simmons and like handing him my demo and that demo being rejected. So if I haven't told this story, here I am again. Like I was something like 16 years old. Mm-hmm. I had just had a song played on the radio and it won Hottest in the Rock. And I was on for like 1 or 2 nights and didn't get played anymore after that. So I felt confident. I felt ready. And then I learned that like Def Jam was coming into town to collect demos. And so I was like, yo, I gotta go to this when I found out. And I didn't have a car. I didn't have a way to get there. So I just called up some folks from work. And one of the drug dealers from work came and picked me up. And he was like, yeah, TJ, I'll drop you off, man. I'll drop you off there. Yeah, no problem. And I was like, all right, man, I see you in a bit. So he comes to my house, picks me up, drops me off downtown. And at this point, I didn't know they were charging admission to get in. Mm-hmm. So I get up to the door and I'm just like, well, I didn't know they were doing. And the drug dealer that was at the door said, I got you, dude. And just like pulled out a 20 out of the wad.
More so you mean the street pharmaceutical rep, but continue.
Yeah, it was on, you know what I mean? It was on the hood. You know what I mean? It's like, it's,
No. I know.
But, and so he pulls out 20, hands it to me. I basically hand it back to him, and he's like, go on it. And so the whole night, I have my demo, and I'm like waiting and waiting and waiting. This is a pizza joint downtown on what's now William Clinton Boulevard.
Oh.
And
okay.
So I'm sitting in there, and it's like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and they're about to shut it down. I'm the last one in the line. 11 o'clock, I get up there, and I walk up, and I hand him my demo, and he says, do you have copyright? And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, what is that? Not realizing that, like, I have copyright because it's the same lesson from this Hip Hop Pioneer lesson.
I see what you did.
Knowing that I have copyright because of this disc, in hindsight, I hand it to him and I say no. I told the truth and I shouldn't have, quite honestly. Yeah. And I actually told the truth, but didn't know
Yeah.
I could have just said no, and I would have been still. I could have said yes, and I would have been telling the truth.
True.
So I hand it to him. He hands it back. He's like, "Look, keep doing what you're doing. Make sure you like get focused and learn the business." Immediately after that, I go back home. I start studying the business, and I form On the Map Entertainment, which is now On the Map Music Group. So that's
2005.
yeah, 2005.
That's pivotal for a lot of reasons. One, I'm glad that he said no and didn't like listen and be like, "You're the next," because I mean, just for other reasons, like I don't want you
at that
time.
moment. Before I met him, I had literally like I always wanted to get signed, and I even made a song talking about how I would respond to being signed to Def Jam. So that in that moment, it was like it hurt my heart, but after the fact, it really fueled a fire, and I think that's what you're getting at.
Well, yes, and I'm also making jokes.
Oh, I didn't catch that one.
I was also making jokes to like, I don't know how to. I don't want you in a place where you would have to defend any alleged wrongdoings of certain people. Anyway,
I'm gonna walk right out of that one.
Good.
Now it's a great time for us to talk about the rest of hip hop legends according to Billboard, and we're going to go to our tier list and we're going to rank Billboard's top 25 rappers of all time. And we don't have like hard and fast rules in the same way we have our other tier lists, but we do have some special categories. So we have God tier, which means that like that artist has surpassed everything that we believe about them. They have like the whole nine when it comes to like attributes and accolades, but then they go way above that to a whole nother realm. What's happening?
It reordered.
It's fine.
So weird.
It's fine. It's okay.
I'm gonna fight. Anyway, continue.
So we got God tier, then we got GOAT. Obviously, we know what GOAT is, greatest of all time. We got amazing. We have overrated, which is going to be difficult in this list. We have mediocre, and then we have pop star. So all of those ratings are going to be within our list. Let's see where we end up at, and let's see how the comment section tears us up after we say that certain folks are mediocre. How you feel about this? First, we're going to start with Method Man.
So, off the rip, Meth is if I remember correctly, the first like rapper 90s R&B artist collab with him and Mary. Or at least one of the.
I don't know.
They
I
did
think
something with that song. That was like
they just had a lot of success with that song.
Okay, so that's probably.
I don't know if that's a first that you can.
I kind of want to give it to him.
I don't know if that's a quotable. Because you got like Nas and Lauren before that.
So maybe I'm forgetting. Anyway, neither here nor there. Let's get to the stone hard cold facts. Stone cold hard facts.
So Method Man for me like is I'm gonna take this over. Method Man for me like is the seemingly one of the most successful members of Wu-Tang that stepped out, created his own lane, partnered up with somebody else, created another group, and then made super success in that regard. So I think Method Man deserves his spot on this list at 25. I believe he should be higher, quite honestly. Mm-hmm. But Method Man is a standout artist when it comes to Wu-Tang, which Wu-Tang was a part of our video where we did our rap groups tier list from Billboard. And you should go check that out and watch it. Check that out. You should go check that out and watch it. So where does he belong for you?
For me, given all the stuff that I was trying to give him earlier, because of how impactful that song was, it's one of the few songs I like by that feature that he has that anyway. By now you should know I'm not a fan of, but that song is
Mary J. Blige, you mean?
Fire. Yeah, indeed. I was trying to get away from saying it because something makes me anyway. It was really dope. His lyricism has always been top tier. If we're talking about the most popular to me of Wu-Tang, it's gonna be Meth.
Yeah.
And that says a lot, given that you have Ghostface, given that you have Raekwon, given that they have classic albums in the tuck. Like, for you to still stand out above that and be lyrically as impactful as you are, plus your stuff with Redman and your acting.
Where does he go for you?
Amazing. Amazing. Because
you know what?
Yeah, amazing.
You know what? For the first time, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm gonna agree.
Hey, look at this. It's a new day.
We don't need you to do sound effects.
Oh.
It didn't work as fluidly as you thought it was. Did you go watch that video?
I did.
Yeah.
I loved all the sounds.
It was interesting, but it wasn't effective or consistent. Next, number 24, according to Billboard, is KRS-One, who's a legend in his own right. He still very grounded and still active to this day, making music on a regular basis. So, where's KRS-One for you?
For me, he's kind of a GOAT.
Do you know much about him?
Yeah, in terms of just his lyrical prowess, like the fact that I have not listened to a project, but I know in terms of every single thing that I've ever heard from him.
Yeah.
And the way his mind works.
What about The Bridge Is Over? Have you heard that?
I believe so, yeah.
The Bridge Is Over, The Bridge Is Over.
Yeah. That and there's another song, I can't think of the name of it. But for me, it's a GOAT. And that's only because, like, he has not had a single bit of slowdown. And then when him and I think it was him and who did he do the verses with?
I don't know.
Because I feel like he did the verses with he might have did the verses with Kumo D. I think. Anyway, there's this legendary like moment in the verses where he is just like, the mind of this man is untouched to me in today's like lyricism and rapping, and that's why I would consider him one of those, because it's like your use of this hip hop language is just not too many can compare it to him.
The hard thing for me about KRS-One is like, even though he's still making music to this day, like, how did he exit the game, so to speak? And why did he exit the game when he was so freaking talented? I understand the dynamics of being indie and being signed and all these other things. Like, that makes sense.
That's a good question.
I think if he wanted, like, if he prioritized his ownership and those types of things, that's all. Like, that always is gonna make sense to me. KRS-One for me though, I don't know if I can put him above Method Man. So I would have to just put him in that amazing tier.
I can agree. I can agree. Because if I was more of a astute follower of him, then that would probably, then I'd be able to argue it a little bit better. And for whatever reason, I don't see his number on here.
He's number 24.
There it is. It was under that white background. Bagoon!
Yep. Stop doing that.
Sorry, last time.
Anyway.
Who's next?
Next, 23 is Curtis Blow. Look, Christmas rapping, these are the breaks. And the breaks, for me, I think when you think about how many times Curtis Blow has been sampled and been a pivotal part of all the music that has gone forward, like he should get his credit where credit is due for being a part of like setting the tone and setting the path for a lot of these records that are super successful compared to his overall career. And so it's hard for me to like say that Curtis Blow is above Meth and above KRS-One. And he's not overrated, so he has to be like in the same spot as Amazing.
This one's hard for me, just because when we do the impact thing, right? We're having that conversation again about the original T model and its importance versus the modernized car that came from it.
Yeah.
And people using his stuff and kind of like giving like slight little nods and acknowledging.
He's the mold.
I don't know. Is that what?
Where would you put him?
For me, in my mind, I would probably say I could be okay with overrated. For me.
Ooh,
but I'm only...
That's a first on this show.
And I know that that's fighting words for a lot of people, but this is one of those, like, are we judging him by the time frame and the time period he's in solely, or are we judging him by this list?
I feel like Christmas rapping is way too long. Just honest. And the breaks is just the breaks, so you can't really hate on it.
Yeah.
But Christmas rapping, like, that could have been like a 3-minute song.
Like, and compared to
it's like 10,000 minutes, I promise.
But again, compared to the other people on this list, I wouldn't have put him, like, I probably would have put him at 25.
Let's go with overrated.
All right.
I will never hesitate to be controversial. So that's where you at. Another Wu-Tang member, Ghostface Killah.
I mean,
why is Ray not here?
He's probably in top 50.
So let me ask you this. Would you listen to Ray or would you listen to Ghostface?
Ghost.
I'm more of a Raekwon type of dude.
I'm more of a Ghost because of his time frame of features when he was just that special delivery feature. Dog. Just immaculate for me during that time frame. Like, I'm just always like, look, crazy on my sweater. Like, I just out of nowhere, like it's so
rolling in
swag,
Versace. I'm thinking for Hashiyashi, Tamagotchi,
Tadiyasi. You know, we could be rapping. I don't care what nobody say. We be rapping, boy.
Trying to get some coffee and some toffee. Get them off me.
But it's slick talk, bro. He is the king of slick talk.
Yeah.
To me. And with that, I still got to go Amazing because it's really hard to, like, I can't crack you into a GOAT.
I can't put him above Meth either.
Like, I can't put you above, but given, like, I can put y'all in the same category because what you are good at that Meth didn't, quote unquote, bring to the table, like, you're good at your original. Your original is unmatched. So I would say Amazing.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Hey.
Next one, rest in peace, DMX. Look, this man,
dog,
the number one albums, the movies, the video games, the influence.
What?
Like, I feel like if DMX wasn't here,
come on,
we would significantly lose a chunk of our hip hop history, and therefore, in my opinion, DMX belongs in God tier.
I gotta agree, and here's why.
Let's explain.
Here's why. The impact of what he did with records, the impact of like what he did with not only just his New York spirituality in terms of the way he would rap and like have these very almost like not I don't want to say Baptist churchy.
He would have prayer,
but
he
like
would pray in his records,
bruh.
He's constantly talking to God.
It was literally just it's a spiritual experience to listen to DMX to me. Like, yeah, he got some lines that you'll be like, whoa, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. I didn't need to hear that line ever.
But I think DMX is not drawing from anything like in this realm. Quite honestly.
Okay, so thank you.
I don't think DMX has ever written a line that wasn't influenced by like his soul.
Agreed. So I got God's here on that one.
Yeah. So he's on Billboard's list. He's number 21. Put DMX in God tier. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Because his influence is still like all over the game.
Yeah. So next up, Big Daddy Kane. Is this a moment, another one of those moments where we kind of shit on another rapper?
Because I love some Big Daddy Kane.
Ain't no half stepping.
Like, bruh, even the whole like it was Rock the Mic when he's in the club.
Yeah,
it's like, bruh, if he drops the mic. It's like it's all a part of the rap. Okay, so I gave Ghostface the Slick Talk title. The smoothest man in hip hop is still
look at that
Big
belt.
Daddy Kane. It's still Big Daddy Kane.
Look at the way he like. Look at his outfit.
Like it's Big Daddy Kane, bro. Like I can't. No.
So for him, I think he influenced Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. He influenced the rest of hip hop. Mm-hmm. He set his own style. Mm-hmm. And in his class of Queens rappers, like he really like chunked out. He chunked out his whole like lane. There is no other like Big Daddy Kane. So like I would say GOAT.
I'm saying GOAT. I gotta go GOAT.
Word. Next up, Missy Elliott.
Okay, I'm not even gonna do this God tier.
God tier. Let's go.
Nope, not playing. Just God tier.
Say less.
Let's say it.
Say less. Say less.
Oh my God.
Ice Cube.
Terrible. With
moved it yet. All right. There we go. Stop it.
Sorry, my bad.
Stop it. Ice Cube. NWA.
Himself.
The movies.
The TV shows.
Now basketball.
The big three.
Mm-hmm. Like he is hustler incarnate and writer extraordinaire. Like his pen game, it can't be surpassed. He was writing for folks in his group, outside of his group, like, and then writing movies. Like his mind is something that I don't think we can touch on.
I think for me, I have to go God's here again, just because it's not just hip hop with you, bro. Like you are literally global. You were global because of NWA. You're then global because you went from that into acting, and like you were able to do the same things that we attribute Snoop doing when we talk about what your image was versus the guy that makes family movies.
And now his son's in like Star Wars. You know what I mean?
like
in the Star Wars franchise. So
and played him.
Right.
Was like and to great effect.
Straight Outta Compton was a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can go God tier though. I'm more of a GOAT.
Okay. I kind of want to argue it, but I will lean to
What's your argument?
My argument, like I said, is the impact of the big three and the impact of his movies alone. Like,
I don't know if the big three has the big three really made the impact that.
Oh yeah, the fact that the NBA continuously tries to shaft him.
Oh, okay, got it.
Continuously, even though
instead of partnering with him,
knows that it's gaining traction, and he's giving these elder statesmen basketball players a second life. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's really dope, and it's owned by us, and that's pivotal.
Yeah, let's go. God tier.
Hey,
great argument.
Let's get it.
Next up, 50 Cent.
We can make the same arguments that we made for Ice Cube.
Did you listen to Get Rich or Die Trying?
Oh, of course. 1,000,000 times.
Okay. I just had to check.
Dog, I played that to nauseum.
I just had to check your temperature, man.
Dog, I didn't listen to Massacre all that much, but...
Massacre wasn't that great.
But, Get Rich or Die Trying? You know how many times? Like, dog, Patiently Waiting was one of my...
Patiently waiting for my
truck to explode on dog, and his imprint.
That was my joint.
So, okay. So if we're going 50 Cent, Ice Cube, right? Because they put 50 above Ice. Do we think that 50 is overall? Because basically, it's the same argument. Outside of he doesn't have like the big three.
Like him on TV right now, I think gives him a little bit more credit. But like in my heart, I only see him as amazing.
Ooh.
In my heart, I only see 50 as amazing.
Okay. So is Get Rich or Die Trying enough of a classic album to make him a GOAT?
No.
Like if that was his only album?
No.
Okay. So Massacre and I guess Curtis kind of hinder him a bit? Not
really. Like those albums don't hinder him in the sense of like it's gonna downgrade him. It's comparatively right now, I have a hard time putting 50 above Meth, and I have a hard time saying that he's just as with Big Daddy Kane.
Okay,
that's where I'm stuck.
Okay, you win. We'll go amazing.
Sweet. Scarface.
For me, God tier and or GOAT.
The man that, like, on my block, every time he does a verse, he transports me to another realm. Quite honestly.
Except for that one time where he didn't, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I wanted to fight you. Because you
Which
said,
verse was that?
Dog, I cannot remember, but you were like...
That was on this show, yeah.
Yeah, but you were...
I did recently have a Scarface was not as impressive moment.
And I wanted to fight you.
Because it didn't give me that same feeling.
My mind's playing tricks on me.
So I think I used to listen to Ghetto Boys a lot as a kid. Mm-hmm. Strangely enough, you know what I mean? Like, who lets you do that? Anyway, I
cannot.
I think he's a GOAT.
I agree. I don't have any other arguments to that. He's a GOAT.
Word. Next up, J. Cole. I'm 15 on Billboard's list. Lights, please. Lights, please. Lights, please. I'm not saying that for any reason, but other than it just comes into my head. His his impact, I don't know that we have experienced the scope of his impact yet.
No, because I mean we're still at the beginning of what Dreamville is going to be. We're still at the beginning of like Jids, Earth Gang, Ari, and everybody.
Ari's heating up a little bit, like a lot of it actually.
But we're still at the beginning of that, like you said, and that it's kind of hard to. I feel like by the end of it all, he will be God tier because I just don't see J. Cole stopping at this.
It feels like. Okay, so it feels like our generation of rappers, rappers that are the same age as us, like Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. It feels like their move to have like a posse and and the rest of their empire is slow blossoming comparatively to like the folks that did it when they were like 20, 25 years old, and they just jumped ship. So it feels like our generation is being more careful with plotting and planning the reign and the empire, or it's not as important.
I also think that they're.
I don't know. Sorry, Drake has OVO.
Yeah.
Kendrick, PG Lang, Cole, Dreamville. Like those things are still in process of growing to what they should be.
Yeah, but I also think they're in that rare space of creating new lanes. And so it's not going to be the same. Whereas like back
pioneers
then,
for this generation, but it's not realized yet.
No, because everybody else, what was our, like you can see the lane, like you go from rap, then you go to movies. You can go to movies or TV, and then you invest in whatever else, you know, that you want to invest in, whether it's a phone company or whatever, however you diversify your funds is what everybody does before. Whereas now, when they're talking about the studios and like the PG Lang and the fact that they do more artistic things in terms of how I think Kendrick explained it, when you think about OVO and it's more about the branding of Drake than it is the artist, because you have artists, but a lot of the time it's not like how Young Money is with Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Like none of them have that right now.
Division is separate from Drake.
Right.
Like categorically separate.
Right. So I think that's what it really is.
I guess The Weeknd could have been that, but The Weeknd didn't stick around.
No, and even then, that was more of that.
It was just a
wave thing, kind of friendship wave thing, wave team.
Where does Cole go?
Cole goes.
Cole go.
I want to say
let your cold glow.
It's GOAT for me because again, I'm a speaker for my generation. I got to speak for my generation, and I know where we gonna be at. Like his features alone.
So you're forecasting.
I'm forecasting.
I'm not forecasting. I would put him in amazing.
Okay, right.
Should you? No, I'm not doing that. I don't do games of chance. They're embarrassing.
What? That is the most. Whenever you were a child, the time you stopped playing with childish things was just like you just got up one moment and was like, "I'm done with this. This no longer serves me."
That was 8, 9 years old. Like, no more. No mas.
I am done with this.
Hand me the car keys, please.
Okay, I'll acquiesce. We can go amazing.
Yeah. Next up, LL Cool J, number 14 on Billboard's lists.
I mean, God's here. To me. And for one reason only.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue, my head is like a shark fin. Let me get dead head sprung. I'm sorry. I'm picking the funniest songs in his catalog. But seriously, here's why. When I think about hip hop, if I think about Def Jam,
there is no Def Jam.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like And not only that, like your general acting career and just your run is like it's really underrated in the fact that like we give Will Smith so much credit for like how he shot up to all this popularity and stuff.
Why is he not on this list?
LL?
No, Will, but I digress.
Never like left out of that stratosphere, bro. Like ever.
LL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's still there now. Like when he speaks, we still listen. The reason, the whole academics thing, we popped out because he spoke and responded. Outside of that, like we might have talked about it, but it's LL, bro.
Put LL in God tier then.
Hey.
Next up, number 13, Rakim, the God. So I mean,
GOAT.
are we forecasting here? Eric B. Rakim. We talked about this kind of in depth when we did another one of our tier lists.
Yeah.
Paid in Full. Like he set the bar for like what other people are going to rap like. So yeah, I would say GOAT. Put him next to Big Daddy Kane, Scarface. Do that.
Hey.
Andre 3000.
What are we doing here?
Got tier.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Got tier.
I'm not
Nothing
playing.
else. Nothing
Let's
else.
move on.
Easy.
I'm not having no conversation
Easy.
about that. Easiest one ever.
Kanye West.
GOAT. I don't care, like, removing all politics and everything else. I think he's GOAT.
Yeah.
I think he could be God tier if he was handling his business to me in a way that made sense. It's so sporadic. Whether it's Yeezys, whether it's any of the other endeavors that he tries to step into, he does it in such a way that it tarnishes my viewpoint.
But I think,
and that's outside of political stuff.
It sounds like we are getting into it because that brings up his mental state.
Yeah,
and quite honestly, barring that this man is neurodivergent, like needs support, he just needs support in cases where he might be like having an episode. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that the human beings that should be around to support him are supporting him in that way.
I also think he's gotten to a point to where it's hard for people to do that and feel like they have the power to make any sort of impact.
Yeah, because if he says no, like, how do you push back? So he needs, like, quite honestly, like, he needs a big brother, big sister type of figure that can, like, kind of check him in some scenarios. But, like, other than that, music-wise,
GOAT.
I also believe he's a GOAT.
Pow.
Nicki, where's she going? By the way, we're in the top 10 of Billboard's list. Nicki Minaj being number 10.
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nicki got a lot of moments.
I think Nicki's a great musician.
3 or 4 albums?
I don't know.
It's not a lot. Like, it's not,
her verse on Monster.
That, dog.
Hands down, probably one of the greatest verses of all time in hip hop history.
But you smoked Jay.
Yeah.
Ross, Prime Ross.
Right.
Yay.
Easy.
Like.
Yeah. And so we're in a conversation where we don't talk about her gender in the same way we don't talk about Missy's gender. But I don't see Nicki on the same category as Missy.
Oh no, not at all. Not in the least for me, because Missy is overall just way more impactful, and we'll get to who she's impacted later.
Where do you see Nicki compared to like Kane and Scarface?
I still see her as amazing because I don't think, and this is my issue with like in terms of her production and putting stuff out. If she was more consistent, like with the medium itself, because she'll dip in and she'll kind of dip out and go do a pop record or something like that. She's not consistent enough for me because like that Monsterverse, like, are there 9 of the verses that you would put in like these are the best Nicki verses ever?
But are you picking up a Nicki album anytime soon?
Not since Pink album. Not since her first. Yeah, no, not really.
That's part of it that kind of bothers me, is that Nicki honestly turned into a pop star. And stayed a pop star. And every once in a while, like, jumps into the hip hop world.
And then just like, you know, with the controversies and everything else, will pop out to like defend a title that you don't seem that concerned about.
Yeah, so honestly for me, and that's a weird thing about the pop star category now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, like it doesn't really fit in a ranking. Pop star just feels like that's where you belong. So Nicki for me is a pop star.
I agree. And again, this is more so like mediocre is basically the bottom of the list. Pop star is, I can't like, in terms of the order, like pop star is at the bottom, but it's more so like you're in a completely different category and we probably could have just removed you from this list altogether and you should be in another list kind of thing.
You don't have to qualify it.
All right.
We're experts here.
Because I keep thinking she's Beyonce because of the way that.
Number 9, Snoop Dogg. Yo, I just saw him on a morning show, turning on his like morning show like
voice,
his morning show voice, and his like Martha Stewart type essence. It's like Snoop Stewart, you know. So I've seen Snoop live, and at like absolutely probably like a hands down great performance. His catalog, hands down great. I don't know if I can get with his new like run of music yet. I feel like he's not pairing up with producers that would like help him stand out, which is from day one is his creme de la creme, you know. And so for Snoop, I think he's a GOAT. I just don't know what, like right now he's a hustler in my opinion, but he's still a GOAT.
I think I'm just going to have to agree with that. That makes the most sense.
Drake.
Okay. So this one's hard for me. Mostly because like he is one of my favorite artists in terms of like the things I think that he changed in the game. So yeah, there have been a lot of emotional rappers. There have been nerdy rappers way before Drake. Drake brought in a whole slew of artists or encouraged a whole just class of artists to try different things.
I think he came in at a time where like it had gone full circle again.
Right.
Like, cause Nelly did it, Ja did it. Who else beyond, like previous to that? Like,
but both
LL did it.
Yeah. But all three of them are not people you would immediately feel like trying. Like, I'm not trying Ja regardless of what 50 said.
So Drake did it without the like thug image, so to speak. And I say that in a really like, you know what I mean, not a derogatory way.
But he did it in a way that was authentic. I'm not saying John and wasn't, but you could tell that it was like you're doing pop records versus this is like his life.
Would you put Drake in the same category as like, as far as influence is concerned, or what he did for the game is the same thing that Kanye did for the game?
Yeah.
He let a new class of rapper come in.
Yeah.
Whereas like Kanye didn't have a grasp or like a big, huge grasp on the melody or the like kind of lovey type of aspect. In fact, he had Drake come along and add that to his repertoire.
I'm gonna do GOAT for me, but it's also because literally, so in the Kanye spectrum, so you got Travis Scott, right? On that album that we just reviewed,
I know, like that verse is
not even just the verse on Telekinesis. SZA's verse uses his melody.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like people use his cadences, his style.
And regardless of how corny you think he is, the real shooters, in terms of like whether it's 21 Savage, what is the dude's name? Not G Herbo, Lil Durk, Lil Baby, like Meek. The rest of these folks fool with him. And Meek was more like, even their beef was so surface about him tweeting.
I fool with Drake too. Like, so I'm gonna go listen to most of his albums. I'm not gonna listen to the dance one, but
because honestly, never mind.
Yeah, but I am gonna. And I do think he gave an ability for folks to express themselves in a different lane and make it acceptable to purchase that type of music. I just don't know if he's a GOAT yet.
I also think the accolades matter here. Like the only time I'm ever bringing that.
I don't think he's a GOAT yet, though.
I gotta say he is. Because it's like it's not stopping, and he's hitting a production run where it's like
he's not above Kanye for me right now.
I think they're on that same level. That's why I just think he's a GOAT. Because it doesn't have to be production, but his imprint is so, like, it's clearly visible. It's not even a question that people are coming from that. And like, he took a style from a state that has Scarface coming out of it and made it his own to where they don't know what state that came from.
But do we upgrade J. Cole then?
I mean, yes.
If we're gonna put Drake there, we gotta have J. Cole go up.
All right, it's going. They GOATs. You ain't gotta ask me twice.
Next up, Wayne.
God tier. What is we talking?
God tier. Go ahead. Do it. Easy.
Like, I'm not.
Easy.
I'm not. Listen, I'm never gonna play with anybody about Wayne or Wayne conversation. GOAT for me. And I wanna.
I will take my bias out and I'll say GOAT too.
Yeah, because the only other thing I would argue to would be, I could see somebody arguing to amazing, but you're only arguing to amazing because he was not given the time to do the rest of the things that I know he would have done.
This tier list is so lopsided, though.
It is. So we're going to go
for Biggie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
M.
God tier, bro.
Rap God.
Rap God. Like, what is we talking? Like,
I am the rap God.
That needs
for
to
me,
be the sound.
For me,
I'm a rap God.
Rap God. For me as a kid, Tupac was important in the South. But as I started to get older, Tupac became pretty overrated.
For me, I agree. Because he was not like, and it's only because I could not see myself in Tupac. No matter, like, when we talk about his raps and the poetic aspects of who he is, his acting and how impactful that stuff is, I just couldn't connect with it. And it wasn't something that I think is indicative of his skill, but I just wanted that type of...
He's a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
It's just difficult to, like... I think it's difficult to codify his presence in the same way that some of these other folks are. And even as prolific as he was, like... Sometimes you're being prolific just to be prolific, you know what I mean?
Right. And I also concede...
What do you think about, like, Dear Mama? Like,
I think these things are impactful. I think Dear Mama, I think Brenda's Got a Baby, I think I Get Around, all of the California Love.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing, like, where impactful belongs on this tier list.
So it's not that he doesn't have like a lot of different moments. It's just if you're talking about like
they're moments.
Yeah.
They're not whole things.
But
All Eyes on Me was a great project, but like outside of that, like
the bigger point here is
maybe it's because he was taking
he was able to make singles. But the constructive criticism in terms of things that what Diddy did for Biggie, in terms of like you have to do this kind of song, and Biggie like pushing through with that mainstream thing that only he could do in the way that he could do it. Which
you don't think Pac had that with Dre?
I think it was different. It was gangsta. Like it wasn't like everybody can get this.
It wasn't poppy.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why, like I said, you either love him, or he's just not your favorite.
I'm starting to see why the bottom half of this is like really empty. Because if we had done the other 25, we probably would be in a different space.
Yeah, because we would definitely have some mediocres. But anyway, so where do you want to put him? I'm gonna let you make the overall decision.
Let's go overrated.
Yeah. I didn't do it.
Nas, number 3.
This is another hard one. Like, but I want to say GOAT, bruh.
If Tupac haunts me from the dead,
I get around.
I mean, or from the life, because he's just in Bahamas. You know?
I just see right now he just slid in all across the screen to look at you.
He's like knocking on the window over there.
Oh man! First of all, yeah.
DJ, fuck your click in your gang.
Nas is
Nas is starting to like inch his way up there to God tier.
This run has been crazy,
and I'm wondering, like that's what I'm starting to think is like I wonder if this run solidifies that.
I feel like it does because Jay probably ain't putting out another album for a while. The fact that he's put out 5 albums.
They make a good point here that like Nas got his first Grammy through like this run from King's Disease.
Like,
and he should have had one way before.
So here's the thing. So accolades to start with. You were 16. 16. Say it one more time. 16 and you did Illmatic. You are now pushing 50. and you have 5 albums that most people can kind of argue don't have a miss.
I would say if we're gonna put M in God tier, then Nas belongs there too.
I agree.
Number 2, Kendrick Lamar. I think he's a GOAT.
I think he's a GOAT. No real discussion needed there.
And the last one, number 1 on Billboard's list, Jay-Z. I'm biased here, so I think I'm going to defer to you. But
I mean, I'm still going to say God's here just because not only does Jay do it in terms of who he is as an artist, outside of that, to hit that $1 billion mark, to do Tidal, to do, you know, the drinking deals that he's done. Like, he shifts the culture with almost every move that he makes while still reaching back, doing verses with some of the top artists. The fact that he has always like been tapped in, did songs with Juvenile, did the songs with Jeezy when he was president of Def Jam, and all the things and steps that he's taken to like, so the fact that God did in and of itself was such God did was such a culture shifting verse, because it's like you can't dispute or argue anything that I'm talking about.
so Billboard makes a good point here, and it ties along with my view of Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that he touches turns to gold.
Mm-hmm.
And when they put his line up here, I will not lose, he synonymizes that. He is the walking version of I will not lose.
Yeah.
And that is real.
Even
that is
albums
real
you
talk.
don't like still hit for somebody.
Yeah. So I would go God tier, 100%, and agree with you. That is it.
My friends, is our list of
Fight us.
Billboard's 25 top 25, and there's nothing really like arguable here, I don't think, outside of maybe one thing, and you can argue it all day. I don't care.
Stop.
Okay,
Stop.
sorry, I'll be taking shots.
You gotta live with it.
I live with it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate y'all for watching this video. I really do want to see where you rank. The link to do all of that is down. You can search our Billboard's top 25 rap list, whatever the case may be, somewhere around there.
Top 25 rappers
Top
of all
25.
time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do your list. Get back to us. Come back to us. This is such a bad outro.
Please subscribe. Please like this video.
Thank you for doing the thing that I forgot to do.
A 1,
A 2.
and a
Peace.